guys, welcome to Crime Time. We're your hosts, Lady Sky and
Mistress Bird Barella.
Let's talk about monsters, specifically Belle Gunness. Now, her early life isn't all that interesting, so we're just going to skip past that. She was born November 11th, 1859 in Norway on a small farm. There you go.
And then she grew up to be a really strong woman, standing 6 foot tall and weighing over 200 pounds. That's a big-ass bitch.
Yep. And to escape poverty, she went to work for 3 years on a wealthy farm. Seems like she could do that. Seems like she's the type that can manage that, and she did that so she could immigrate to the U.S. and get a more American name. And work as a servant.
Ah, the American dream.
Whatever you say, Bird. In any case, she got married in 1884 in Chicago to Mads and Tom Sorensen. It sounds fancy. You have to say it with a fancy accent. Sorensen. 2 years later, the couple opened a candy shop.
Wholesome.
Well, unfortunately, the business was a flop and mysteriously burned down that same year. The insurance paid for a new home.
Well, at least they got a new home. Good for them.
Now, reports say she had 3 girls and a boy. Allegedly, Caroline and Axel, her children, died as infants from acute colitis. I sounded way too cheerful saying that.
It's sad.
It's sad, guys. I'm sorry. But they were injured, and the couple got a nice payout, so there you go. The nexus states that the couple had 4 children, 2 deceased, 2 in the home, and another child they adopted, a 10-year-old named Jenny Olson.
That's wholesome.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Soon, her husband grew seriously ill. The first doctor he saw believed he was suffering from strychnine poisoning.
Ooh, that's not accidental.
Sounds about right. Though the second doctor, for some reason, diagnosed him and treated him for an enlarged heart like a fucking idiot.
Well, science is hard.
True. I guess. I can't diagnose anybody with anything, so.
No. So what? Why are you trying to talk crap right now? You don't know how to diagnose them, so you can't say whether
I can totally criticize somebody else's stuff without knowing anything
over
about
100 years ago, we're criticizing you, doctor. Second doctor that we don't have a name of.
You should have been banned from being a doctor. Alright, unfortunately, on July 30th, 1900, he died anyway because you diagnosed him with an enlarged heart.
It just keeps getting bigger. Should we let some of his blood out?
That's exactly what they did. Did they back... Anyway, an autopsy was never performed because it wasn't considered suspicious.
Well, it's unknown if they ever checked her first husband's body for arsenic, as his family would have wanted, but again, that's different from the strychnine. So arsenic, strychnine, people think that something is not right here.
Yeah, it's definitely some kind of poison.
But side note, at the time of her first husband's death, she didn't tell anyone she was currently pregnant, which is odd, considering it would have gotten her sympathy. And she seems the lady that wants the sympathies.
Oh yeah. She applied for the insurance money, by the way, literally the day after the funeral.
Okay, but what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to sit around and watch YouTube videos? It's 19 whatever or not. And
she could go dig a hole. She seemed to like digging holes.
We haven't even gotten to that part.
Oh, okay. Foreshadowing.
She likes digging holes. A common, serial killer thing we've noticed in our last few episodes, they like digging holes.
Oh, yeah.
Minnesota, Indiana.
There's not much to do there. Go outside at night and dig some holes.
But anyway, yeah, she's gonna apply for the insurance the day after. I don't find that so suspicious.
Yeah.
Other things, yeah.
The insurance company awarded her $8,500, which was the equivalent of some crap in current day currency, guys. She used this to buy a farm in LaPorte, Indiana.
Oh, living the high life. And I just foreshadowed the fuck out of that, so,
There you go. Foreshadowing. It happens.
We've researched this a lot, and we don't know what points to say it.
We definitely haven't recorded this 3 times beforehand. Alright. After she moved, she met with an old friend of hers from back home named Peter Gunness.
Oh, that's where she gets the name from.
A year later, on April 1st, 1902...
Are you implying an April Fool's joke?
It's a bit of a joke.
Their wedding is a bit of a joke.
Everything, yeah. Belle became Mrs. Gunness. And a week after that, Peter's infant daughter died of uncertain causes while alone with Belle.
So, Belle would probably not have the greatest review on Yelp. I'm just saying, if she put her services as a babysitter
1 star.
online. Half a star. Do they use stars on Yelp? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even use Yelp.
I don't use it.
Do people still use Yelp? I don't know. Well, according to Belle, her husband Peter had a freak accident. He was reaching next to the stove for his slippers for some reason when he was scalded with brine somehow, and apparently this somehow led to a sausage grinding machine landing on his head from an above shelf, which of course caused a fatal head injury.
Alright, The lesson to learn here is don't keep your sausage grinding machines on the top shelf.
Heavy equipment does not go on shelves, it goes on floors.
You're supposed to lift with your legs, not with your back. I'm not trying to criticize the guy. She probably just, beat him to death with a sausage grinding machine.
Poor dude.
No, this isn't his fault at all. But I feel like there's a lesson to be learned. And, that's what it is. Don't screw up your back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This time, though...
Let's get back to the story.
We definitely have... We don't know what we're doing anymore. This time, she got $3,000, which in today's currency is who gives a fuck.
That's a lot of money.
She's got fuck you money. She really...
That's the best way I've ever heard that. She immediately started putting ads in the newspaper looking for men. Many men, will find out, took the bait. Her personal ads to entice the suitors read as follows. Personally comely widow who owns a large farm in one of the finest districts in LaPorte County, Indiana, desires to make acquaintance of gentlemen, equally well provided, with the view of joining forces.
Fortunes. With forces is also good.
With the view of joining forces. No replies by letter considered unless sender is willing to follow answer with a personal visit. Triflers need not apply.
No trifling.
No trifling assholes.
The first dude who came was John Moe, who'd immigrated to Minnesota from Norway. Belle introduced him to the neighbors as her cousin, who'd come over with $1,000 to pay off her mortgage.
That's not weird.
Well, he just disappeared a week later.
Okay.
Yeah. So, then came George Anderson, another immigrant from Norway.
So she has a type.
Mm-hmm. That night, he woke up with her, standing over him, holding a candle, and staring at him.
She would just want to get a better look at him.
Well, it startled him, and he yelped, and then she ran out, and then he left that night, certain that she'd wanted to murder him.
Probably right, yeah.
And he left everything behind, because fuck that.
The choice between, all your worldly possessions and living, he made the right choice.
Her next suitor was Old B. Budsberg.
B. Budsberg.
It's a great name.
Oh, God, I want to name my children after him.
A widower, he was, from Iowa. He was
he also from Norway?
Right? That's what I was wondering. Did he also immigrate from Norway? They never said.
Okay. I'm going to assume so.
Me too. Yeah, because she's definitely got a type. He was last seen mortgaging his land, signing over a deed, and getting, of course, thousands of dollars in cash at the savings bank in LaPorte.
Well, she started ordering large trunks around, and...
This time,
I'm going to say time another time. The delivery drivers remember her hoisting them up on her shoulders as if they were merely...
boxes of marshmallows.
And carrying them inside. Which, also adding to the creepy factor,
mm-hmm.
She always kept the window shutters closed.
That's not weird at all.
The sun hurt her skin. But many farmers in the area reported driving by and seeing her digging after dark.
See, there we go.
I made it through that sentence.
And now you know she dug after dark, and so the reference makes sense, guys.
If you made it this far.
We did it. All right. In December 1907, Andrew Helgelian seemed smitten, exchanging many letters. One letter in particular really sold him, and he arrived at the farm the following month. He also brought with him his entire savings, $2,900 to be exact.
That doesn't sound like a lot of... That sounds like a lot of money, actually. That's more than I have in my bank account.
Yeah, that's more than I ever have at any time.
It's more than zero.
Now, the letter that won over Andrew reads as follows. Let me just preface this with, this woman cannot write to save her life, and she acts like she's in middle school, so here we go.
To the dearest friend in the whole wide world. No woman in the world is happier than I am. I know that you now come to me to be my own. I can tell you from your letters that you're the man I want. It does not take a person long to see a person. And you I like better anyone in the world that I know. Think of how we'll enjoy each other's company. You, the sweetest man in the whole wide world. We will be alone with each other. Can you conceive of anything nicer?
Just imagine.
There's more.
I know, unfortunately.
I think of you constantly. When I hear your name mentioned by one of the dear, dear sweet children speaks of you. Or I hear myself humming it with the words of an old love song. It is beautiful music to my ears. My heart beats in wild rapture for you. My Andrew, I love you. Come prepared to stay with me forever.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. I practiced at least 3 times.
It sounds exactly what I would expect her to sound like.
I think we finally figured out the voice. All the voices. My voice, her voice included.
Yeah, no weird voices going on. Nothing.
Nothing weird from the last episode.
No. He was last seen at the savings bank with Belle, depositing the check. Days later, Belle returned alone and made a $500 deposit. Then she went to the state bank and deposited another $700.
That's basically money laundering, right?
That's money laundering. Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Well, at this time, she was also corresponding with a farmer and horse dealer in Kansas named Lon Townsend, even inviting him to visit. He proposed. No, he actually postponed the visit until spring, which probably saved his life.
So, now's the time where we do the,
We had a joke here.
We had a joke.
But I am so tired of reading the script. You'd think we could get through it a little bit better.
He's a horse dealer. He opens his jacket, there's horses there, and there you go, that's the joke.
Nay.
Haha. Alright. Well,
horses also heroin. That was the other part of the joke.
Oh, yeah, there was another part. Oh, God. I don't know. This is the 20th time we've done this.
We're lying when we say 3.
It's probably 100.
Recording and animating is hard.
Oh, kill me. Alright, well, this is the beginning of the end for Belle.
Thank Christ.
We're finally done with this bitch. Her farmhand, Ray Lamphere, whatever the fuck, had fallen for her. I can't do names, alright?
I couldn't guess that you couldn't do names. We haven't been struggling through them this whole entire time.
No, it's fine. Turns out, Ray was insanely jealous of all the men that Belle was
Why was he jealous?
He wanted to die too. He desperately wanted to die.
Well, we're about to find out how much.
Belle fired him.
Good.
Told police he was a danger to the public.
Better.
And even got a sanity hearing arranged somehow.
I side with her in this one part. I bet he was a stalker.
Well, he was declared sane, so there's that.
I disagree with the jury.
You can't be saying you're friends with Belle and you want to fuck that bitch. She's killing all the motherfuckers. You can't be sane. She tried numerous times to get him locked up after this, and yet, for some reason, his dumb ass was still coming around and now bragging to people about helping dispose of the bodies.
I hate this guy.
Really?
I don't know if I hate recording this more than I hate this guy.
I hate all of it. It's all bad.
Alright.
Now, she claimed Ray had threatened to kill her and burn down her house.
Foreshadowing.
She even had the dude make her a will where she left everything to her precious, wonderful, dear children.
Well, she had a lot of money, so maybe she just wanted to see where it was going.
Though she never did tell the police any of her concerns, that seems a little bit fucking fishy to me,
Yeah, definitely.
Soon after, the new farmhand she'd hired woke up early on April 28th, 1908, to the house on fire, and screamed for Belle and her kids.
That's an automatic, thing.
Getting no reply, he jumped from the second-story window in just his underwear.
He had to get out of the fire.
And then he immediately went to town to get help. I'd like to imagine that he had to walk all the way there in his underwear.
He's running. His underwear is actually on fire. He hasn't...
There we go.
Stop, drop, and roll hasn't been invented yet. He is just running. He's like, help, my underwear is on fire.
And it just melded into his body, and there you go. That's what happened.
We solved that case, boys.
Definitely true. Definitely what happened. Alright? You don't have to look that up. It's fact. Immediately, he went to town to get help. Alright, yeah. But, yeah, we're fine. Just cut that. It's fine. But, by the time they arrived, it was no use. The farmhouse was now just a skeleton.
Oh, that's what fire does.
4 bodies were found, including that of a headless woman, initially thought to be Belle.
Well, your head usually doesn't pop off when you die.
And just completely disappear.
It's gone. They never actually found that head again. Ever.
Now, when the police questioned Ray after learning of his supposed threats, he immediately asked if Belle and the children escaped.
Oh, he cares.
But he asked this before the police had even told him what had happened.
Oh, he's a fortune teller.
Now, a young boy named John came forward at this time and said that he saw Ray running from the farm just before the flames erupted. Ray laughed at the boy and said, quote, "You wouldn't look me in the eyes and say that?" To which the boy replied, quote,
"Yes, I will. You found me hiding behind the bushes. You told me you'd kill me if I ever got out of there."
So you're telling me the boy has a smoker's cough and and Ray just sounds like a little bitch?
Maybe that's
about right.
I feel like Ray sounded like a little bitch.
Yeah.
because that's part of his low self-esteem and why he was attracted to Belle Gunness.
The murderer. The fucking man murderer.
That he actually knows is murdering. He would know that for a fact if we're following this narrative.
Oh yeah, we'll find out for sure what he knows. Ray was charged with murder, though it was eventually determined the body wasn't Belle's.
Well, the head of Belle, or whoever the corpse, like we said, they just never found her head.
Or anything, yeah. No. And the children supposedly were still... See, this is the problem. Some facts say that they were still in their beds, the children, and others say they were in the basement.
Which, I feel like it's definitely murder if your kids are, in the crawl space under the house, because basements probably weren't finished at this point. And, just
laying there.
Dead.
Yeah. Didn't attempt to escape.
But if they were in the bed, it would make sense, because smoke inhalation is usually what kills you, and that's why you are found in your bed. So maybe she killed, maybe she didn't. There's a lot of weird things. I don't think Belle is completely innocent of anything, though.
I think that she's become a bit of like a myth, and so nobody really knows like everything for sure. So the corpse was measured, and it came in at 5'3" and no more than 150 pounds. Is that 5'3" like with the head, or without the head? I mean, just saying.
I don't know.
Well, it's a far cry from Belle's measurements, apparently. In fact...
And either way, 150 pounds is... Her head wouldn't have weighed 50 pounds.
Wait.
Yeah. No, she was 200 pounds. Well, when she was on the farm.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right.
It wouldn't weigh 100 to 50 pounds.
Yeah, there we go. The woman who made Belle's clothes actually came forward with the measurements that she had on file for Belle, and they did not match the body.
Shock me.
Right? They determined that the body could not have been Belle's, even with the damage of the fire taken into account, because duh.
Well, during the investigation, police recovered the remains of about 12 people, though the exact number is unknown.
They could only identify the 12 bodies, but it's possible as around 32 or more, based on missing persons reports and other evidence besides remains.
Well, I think the final count, according to the internet, is about 42. So, 6 to 42 is what it could be, Pick a number. It's that one.
And when a pathologist investigated the contents of the stomach, strychnine was found.
Oh, more references. A former miner was hired to build... Aren't everyone former miners?
Ha ha!
Yeah, there I go.
Very punny.
Well, anyway, a former miner was hired to build a sleuth to sift through the debris for remains.
That's pleasant.
This would also be later used to find the remains of victims.
Hey, I got him here, guys. I got him here. Look right here.
It's not... I'd rather find gold, personally.
Yeah. One of the bodies belonged to Belle's daughter, long since dead. That daughter is Jenny Olsen.
Oh, the dead
child
one.
They adopted.
The dead one.
Yeah, they're all dead. That specific dead one.
I'm sorry. I meant to word that not so unpleasantly.
It's fine. The dead one. Alright, Ray was arrested and charged with murder and arson. His attorney claimed the dental bridge used to determine it was Belle's body was planted, and that the gold in the teeth, that whole thing,
yeah.
that would be melted.
She had a grill.
Yes. God, I can just imagine that. I'm sorry. Look, they'd be melted. Gold melts, alright? There was gold-plated watches at the scene. They melted. The teeth somehow didn't melt.
So it was planted after the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they demonstrated this in court with a replica set that it would have melted.
Huh.
So.
That's neat.
Yeah. Learn something new every day. Science.
Well, Belle's dentist said that if any of the teeth or dental work could be found, he would be able to determine if it was hers or not. This is when the bridge work was discovered. 2 canine human teeth still attached.
Roots and all.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
still there.
I always forget about this part.
Oh, yeah. It's roots. She just ripped that shred out.
So she would have had to actually rip her whole tooth out.
I guess she just downed some whiskey and just...
I enjoy the grunt. But yeah, so that's how they determined that the teeth were hers, but the body was not.
Roy was found guilty of arson, but acquitted of murder. And on November 26, 1908, he was sentenced to 20 years. But then he died a year later like a little bitch from tuberculosis. So, there you go.
Well, he's dead now.
That's a fact. But a lot about the details of this case have come from Ray's confessions.
Ray claims that Belle did the dirty work on her own. According to the testimony of Reverend E.A. Schlew, Ray had come forward when he began dying and confessed to him what he had done and witnessed. According to Ray, Belle would... sometimes we totally miss typos, and that was one of them.
You guys got that? That's good.
Oh, all right. According to Ray, Belle, the lady we've been talking about this whole time, Belle, would welcome the men in, charm them, get them nice and full, and then drug their coffee. That's when they were out of it. She'd split their head open with a meat chopper.
It's efficient.
That's one thing you could say about her.
She
Other times she'd wait until they went to bed, chloroform in their sleep, which actually chloroform will kill you. Then she'd carry the bodies to the basement, chop them up, having learned a great deal from being married to a butcher. She'd bundle the parts, bury them in the pig pen in the yard somewhere. Sometimes she got lazy and wanted to save time, using strychnine instead of chloroforming them. Sometimes she dumped the bodies in the hog scalding vat.
I don't even know what that is. What is a hog scalding vat?
Well, someone please message us and tell us what that is.
I'm not that country, so I don't know.
I'm too lazy to Google it. And cover them with quicklime. Other times, when she was overly tired, like I am through this script, she'd feed them to the pigs.
That's wonderful.
Oh, there's more.
He also made a confession about the headless corpse. Apparently, Belle had lured this person in from Chicago under the guise of hiring her as a housekeeper.
That's shitty.
And then she drugged her, bashed her head in, and then decapitated her, attaching weights to her head and throwing it in the deep part of a swamp. She also had chloroformed the children, smothered them, then dragged them in the headless corpse to the basement. So I guess they were in the basement.
Okay, so there is a witness that says that's how...
Well, Ray says that she chloroformed them.
Which
can we trust Ray? Do we know?
Is he a reliable witness?
He was trying to get in the panties.
He knows at this point that he's not going to, right?
I mean, I would hope so.
He is confessing, so... She dressed the headless body up in some of her old clothes, and then removed her bridge to place beside the body for identification. She then set the home ablaze and fled.
Apparently, she backstabbed Ray in the process of this and took a different route than the one they'd planned together. And though other accounts say he admitted to taking her 9 miles away to a town called Stillwell. So some people say that he was still involved and helped her escape, but he says, nah, she screwed me over.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
He also said that she had murdered 42 men by his account, becoming incredibly wealthy. In fact, most of her funds had been withdrawn from the bank right before the fire. Another sign pointing to her faking her own death.
Clearly, you don't need money when you're dead.
So,
7 of the unknown victims were buried in paupers' graves in Pine Lake Cemetery in LaPorte. Andrew Helgelian, Jillian Jellian, and Ginny Olsen are buried near Peter Gunness in Patton Cemetery in LaPorte. So they're buried near...
the farm.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But since it's hard to believe that Belle's body was Belle's...
There were many, many sightings over the next few years, but none of them were ever really verified.
The headless body was exhumed in November 2007 with permission from a living family member of Belle's sister. They were hoping that there was enough DNA on the sealed envelope from Belle, but there was not. They were also exhuming the bodies of victims and contacting relatives of known missing people. It might take, 100 years, but someone will take care of it.
Eventually.
But that wraps it up for this episode, which this will also be our last episode for what we're calling a season.
Yay.
Yay. We will be back in October.
Spooky.
We're so spooky. So, if you couldn't tell that we've been changing some things up, the art's changed a couple times. There's 2 of us, and there used to only be 1 of us. There's a podcast now that you're listening to. We're not great at this, so we're going to take some time to learn
and to get better
and research, because we think we have a product that we both really enjoy making
and that you guys really enjoy watching or listening to.
And thanks for watching and listening to. Tune back in October to see what we can really do with some extra time. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Follow those crazy girls on all the social media sites. Those links will be in the description below. And as always, be wary of the monsters out there.